The Lakers and the Timberwolves played a preseason game, and it was really just a throwaway game for the Lakers. First off, I don't even know why the NBA decided to schedule a back-to-back for a preseason game. I understand that they're in Vegas, so you're trying to get as many games as possible out there, but you couldn't just given them an extra day and had not had a back-to-back. Plus, the fans would have enjoyed it more because they probably would have gotten to see, LeBron, Westbrook, guys like that. But essentially, nonetheless, we still had a game. And basically everyone's set, right? You had the big three. You also had Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn. Troy Brown is still out. Dennis Schroeder, we did get some good news on him. He's supposed to be joining the team this weekend. So hopefully we'll get to see him in a preseason game very soon. But outside of that, the only really rotation guys that played were Thomas Bryant, Damian Jones, Winning Gabriel, Austin Reeves. It was the show for the young guys, right? This was a real opportunity for the young guys. Scottie Pippen, Christie. You had Swider. Bacon got to play some more. Matt Ryan, Huff. A little bit of all. It was basically, again, the young guys showcase to see if there's anybody that's worth, maybe bringing on for the final roster spot. You even heard the announcer say that Bacon and Ryan are competing for the last roster spot. Personally, I don't think either of them look good enough get a spot. Bacon looked really great in the previous game, but like I said, let's let cool expectations. It was a small sample size. This game, he actually got more minutes, and he was terrible. He's 0 of 5 from the field. He did have 6 rebounds and 3 assists, and he did give you a block, but he was nowhere near. He was more productive in 6 minutes yesterday than he was in 21 minutes today. So that was a big difference, and that was kind of my thing with a lot of the comments yesterday. I was telling people, we got to let cool expectations on him. Let's see a couple more game sample size. Again, I don't want to say he's just, terrible or anything like that, but you saw what happened when he got more minutes. And I even said, what happens if he had a game like this where he goes 0 for 5, doesn't put up any points, and it just looks awful, which he did. Again, there's reasons a lot of these guys aren't on rosters. A lot of these guys haven't gotten spots. Teams aren't really trying to get these guys. But nonetheless, beyond that, we did get to see the emergence of Thomas Bryant finally. The first 2 games, he looked a little wobbly out there, to say the least. And personally, I attributed that to just, he's coming off a significant injury. He needs to kind of get his legs back under him, needs to get back into the feel of the game. But he was great. From the jump, he was running the floor. He's being aggressive. He was our leading scorer. He had 18 points, gave us 7 rebounds, 1 assist. He was 5 from 8 from the field. He was 0-2 from 3, which kind of sucked. Damian Jones and Thomas Bryant, although Thomas Bryant, again, only shot like a couple threes. So hopefully you can pick it up more. But Damian Jones, I don't think he still made a 3, which is not a good sign. And Thomas Bryant, again, he took 2 shots, so it's kind of was that just a bad 2 shots, or is that something to look forward to? But nonetheless, he was great. 26 minutes of play, really was all over the place. He also gave you a block, a steal, and he was the real positive and the real standout for this game. Again, this was just a throwaway game. This was a showcase for the young guys to see if anyone is worth making the team, making the roster. All of the main components actually set, except for Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant was one of the rotation guys that actually played, and he played great. Again, cannot speak more highly of how Thomas Bryant played. It was really nice to see this. Now, obviously, we need to see this translate with the main core guys, but Thomas Bryant showed why he was such a value pickup and that potential that he has. I'm not saying that he's going to average 18 and 7 for the season, but we don't need him to. But he is a guy that is capable of that. He is a guy that any given night, he could give us 15, 20 points, and it wouldn't be surprising. He's had monster games. He's had monster rebound games. He has a 20 rebound game, if I'm not mistaken, or like a 15 rebound game. So we know that he can be a monster when he's healthy, when he's right, when everything's clicking. And today, he looked really good. He looked really good with a bunch of guys that aren't very good around him. If he could look like that, what is he going to look like when we do have all the good guys around him? If he's in the starting lineup and he's got LeBron, kind of put him in position to, give him good lobs. Russ on the, just drive and dump and just easy, have Bryant in the dunker spot or the pick and pop spot, stuff like that, drive and kick spot, like all of those things. Bryant's versatility, I think, is going to be very huge for this team. We finally got to see Walker, right? That was a huge sort of boost, right? Lonnie Walker, big question with him. Now, look, he had some good moments. He had some bad moments. He looked like a guy that hasn't played in 2 weeks, but he was very fluid out there. He showed his length. He had some really nice finishes. He was another really bright spot when you take into account the circumstances, right? Hasn't played in 2 weeks, getting in game mode, first game back, trying to get his legs under him. But we saw him on both sides of the ball really just utilize his length. He was able to create his own shot, get to the hoop, had some nice finishes. On the defensive end, we saw him have a couple nice stops, a couple nice plays. Saw a couple deflected balls just because, again, that 6'10 wingspan, he's able to just kind of put his hands out there and disrupt passing lanes and stuff like that. I think he could be a really huge factor for us. So hopefully we'll get to see more of him in the preseason. You got to keep in mind, he wasn't a part of training camp. So he didn't get to work in with these guys to where, he has the system, he has the understanding, he knows where he needs to be, what he needs to do, stuff like that. That's going to take time for him to get in. But this is a guy that could really carve a spot and be a huge factor. Our scouting department has been great. They've been can't miss at this point, and so to question them now, I don't know how you can. Like even Max Christie, a lot of people give Max Christie a hard time. There's more to the game of basketball than scoring, and Max Christie is great. He already has NBA level defense. He is so good defensively. And the shooting and the scoring and stuff like that will come naturally. He's young. He's 19 years old. He's a kid. It's going to take time for him to kind of get into his own, but he's got great size. He's a guy that is a very good defender already. He's already just showing a little bit of everything on the defensive end. And I really like what I see from him from that regard. But, Lonnie Walker, he's going to be a factor. The Lakers liked him for a reason. The Lakers liked what they saw and were willing to give him the mid-level exception for it. This is a guy that was arguably the second or third option on a Spurs team, and now he's, our seventh option. That's usually pretty good value when you're getting a guy, especially at the price that you got him at. So I like the potential for Lonnie Walker. I liked some of the things I saw. It wasn't a perfect game from him. He had some bad moments, but you expect that with a guy that just is coming off of an injury and hasn't played in 2 weeks, didn't have training camp, didn't do anything. He's basically going into this game completely blind and hoping to navigate, figure it out so he can be effective. So I don't blame Lonnie Walker for, having not the most perfect night ever. He still gave you 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Yeah, he was 4 for 13, 1 of 7, which is not what you want to see. But he had 2 blocks, a steal. Again, a guy that showed both sides of the ball. And he showed some nice flashes that are very promising for a guy that just basically got thrown into the fire. So I'm very excited for Lonnie Walker. And then the young guys. None of these guys are ready. And this is what I was trying to say in the previous video. Cole Swider, he gave you 17 points, but he was 4 of 16 from the field, 3 of 11 from 3. He started 0 for 7 from 3 again. That's what? That was like 14 straight missed threes. He had a couple steals. He had a couple nice moments here and there, but he's not ready. He's not NBA ready. He's a good shooter, but there's a reason that he went undrafted and is arguably the best shooter in the draft class because he's just very raw. He's going to need some time. He's going to need some development. His shooting is NBA ready. When he gets going, he gets going. So again, after he started 0 for 7, he was like, 3? He was 3 for 4 after that. So hopefully that's a good sign and he can kind of pick that back up. But he's not ready. Scottie Pippen Jr. is not ready. Scottie Pippen Jr. has some really nice moments. He looks really good in some situations, some scenarios. He gave you 14, 4, and 7, played a majority of the game. I believe he played the most minutes. Yeah, he played the most minutes at 33 minutes. But he doesn't let the game come to him. He's solid defensively. He's solid on. I think he has the potential to be a very, very solid backup point guard. He reminds me of Trey Jones. That's kind of who he reminds me of. He can play both sides of the ball. He can be a guy that runs and initiates the offense. He just needs to learn the flow of the game. And 3 blocks, 3 steals, very solid defensively, and I really think he could be a key contributor at some point for the Lakers. I don't think that time's right now. I don't think he's that guy right now. Max Christie, I could see him just on his defense alone getting some run time, getting some opportunities. You need a stop. You need something like that. You could throw Christie in, trust him to give you that assignment. Again, the scoring will come, but he's not ready yet. Defensively, he is. But you also need him to actually be a threat and be able to give you more than just the defense. Although, hey, look, like I said, if we get my problem is he doesn't have the size that I want, for a wing defender. But if you need just a stop, you could make an argument for him to get some run in. But again, I still don't think he's ready. Jay Huff, clearly not ready. I love these guys. I think these guys are great. I just don't think they're NBA ready. I think it's going to take time for all these guys to develop. If you looked at Jay Huff's stat line, he had a pretty solid stat line. But if you actually watched the game, he looked very lost at times, and looked just like he didn't really belong out there. But Matt Ryan was, he had some nice moments. He shot 40% from the field, but he was 2 of 8 from 3. Finished with 11 points, but again, not really anything, not a really major standout to me, in my opinion. Bacon, again, had another terrible game. He came off a really nice game, looked really good, and that, a 6-minute stretch gave you some nice contributions, but you got to remember that was the end of the bench guys at that point. None of these guys, I think, are stand out enough to deserve that final roster spot. That's just me personally. I think that you got some. We have a bright, young, talented future. I think we got a lot of guys that, under the right development and just adding to this culture, they could make the roster at some point. I just think now isn't the time, especially in the position we're in. I think you give these guys the next 2 or 3 years to develop. I think they could all come in, post LeBron and be your solid rotation guys that could really make an impact. So I just don't think any of these guys are worthy of it at this point. I think you leave the open roster spot in case somebody gets bought out, or if you can make a trade at some point, something like that. I think that's what ends up happening. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Love to hear what you thought of this game. Good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. Again, just a complete throwaway game. I didn't really talk about, like Reeves and Gabriel and stuff, because there just wasn't really much. Gabriel only played just under 12 minutes. But he had his good moments. He had his bad moments. Reeves was solid in 21 minutes of play, but he's so much better around guys that are elite. He's that glue guy. He's that guy that, high IQ, doesn't do too much, understands his role, knows what he needs to do. It just works well with your starters, works well with, your stars. That's Reeves. But you see Reeves, when he's starting to play with, some of the lesser guys, he's not as good, because he's reliant on feeding off the other guys. Making the assist play, making the smart play. You also see a lot of times, with his passes, he'll pass it ahead to where the guy's supposed to be, rather than where the guy is, because he's a high IQ guy. He knows, he needs to cut, he needs to get to this point. I need to put the ball there, so that way when this guy comes, he has the ball right in his hands, easy layup, and that's usually how he gets turnovers and stuff. But all in all, it was a game that you expected. As soon as you saw that nobody was playing for the Lakers, you were like, okay, this is going to be a boring blowout game, and that's what it was. But anyway, again, however you feel about it, love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know. Quick little shameless plug, everyone. If you enjoy my videos and commentary here on this channel, As It Stands Lakers, then check out the link down in the description below and go subscribe to As It Stands. Believe it or not, As It Stands was the first channel. If it wasn't for that channel, this channel would never have existed. Because of the success of that channel, it led me to want to create this Lakers channel. So do me a huge solid. If you're not subscribed over there, go check that out. Go subscribe over there. I talk all things sports, all teams, things like that, not just the Lakers. So if you just enjoy my commentary and want to hear me talk about other things, or you just, are a fan of other sports and other teams, go check that out. I promise you will not be disappointed. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.